Hey, welcome to another redraw video. We are now getting into the onslaught of fairy tale art, starting with Gray. Gray was my favorite character in fairy tale, and I talked a little bit about in the last redraw video that I did about how fairy tale was actually my favorite anime, and it's one of my first. Technically, Soul Eater is my first. Well, if we really want to get technical about it, Ruby was my first, but I've only watched season 1. I actually have to get around to watching the rest of that. But anyway, so I was just trying to get up some references, and I got very quickly sidetracked because as soon as I pulled up the first few pictures, I started getting really nostalgic, and I realized how much I missed him and I missed all the other characters. And I know that this redraw series is gonna get me to rewatch all of Fairy Tail. Lord help me. I started debating on doing a different outfit than what I had originally drawn him in, especially when I saw this. I was like, oh, that's kind of a cute outfit. I want to draw that one. Oh, maybe I can do that. And I just kind of started going through a bunch of them. But I like all of them, and I decided, you know what, it's a redraw. I'm just gonna stick with the original. I feel like Gray always had very cool, very interesting outfits. A lot of them did. But it's just funnier with him because he has these gorgeous, well put together, very cool looking outfits, and they end up gone. They end up off anyway, if you know anything about the anime or the character. You know that my man, he gets hot easily and he needs to shed his clothes. He is almost never aware when he does it. I started using my drawing from the last redraw to reference the head shape a little bit, getting more familiar with my own style, which, speaking of, I wonder exactly how much Fairy Tail has impacted my art style. Because, again, this is what, I first started out drawing when I started seriously pursuing art and really wanting to draw. And, I don't know, I can see kind of some similarities, or things that maybe I have picked up from that, but I know it hasn't been just Fairy Tail that's influenced my style, though. I know that there are many different artists and shows that have influenced my style throughout the years. With this drawing, I was really struggling with the size of the head. I couldn't decide whether to make this drawing as big as I had made the original. Scale is still a thing that I struggle with very much. I tend to either go way too small or way too big, and then the proportions kinda all end up off. So the more I draw, the more janky it looks. And that's something that I'm trying to get better with. Before I get too sidetracked in talking about my art, I want to talk a little bit more about Fairy Tail in general. It's kind of funny because when I found this anime, I was looking through music. I needed new music, and I'm pretty sure I heard an Emily song, and that's what got me curious about Fairy Tail. I think Strike Back was the first Fairy Tail song that I heard, and I really loved that song, and it got me curious about the anime that it was from. So I searched up Fairy Tail on YouTube, and what I first found was one of the movies, Dragon Cry. So that's what I watched, thinking that this was the anime, that was the whole thing. So I remember starting it and being a little confused as to what was going on, the world that we were in, but I felt like that even that, jumping in to Dragoncry, it did a really good job of, like, you know, I mean, at least I got into it pretty quickly, where I kind of understood the world a little bit, at least as much as I needed to, and the characters. But the only thing that was really confusing and remained confusing for me throughout the entire movie, was Juvia. Because I had no idea who she was or why she was upset that Urza was existing around Gray and that they were, like, going out on a mission together or whatever. And I reasoned through that movie that she was his mom and that she was being, like, really protective of her son and being like, you're not good enough for him. So she confused me, and I was entertained but kind of annoyed by her when I watched the movie because I didn't know who she was, but I adore Juvia. She is such a sweetheart. She's a little crazy, but who isn't? But I do love her very much. And I really love her character after I had the chance to get to know her properly. Back to talking about the art, though. The whole time that I was working on Gray's hair, I just kept thinking, God, please don't go too far with it and make it end up looking like Megumi's fucking sea urchin hair. I was genuinely afraid of that, and so I was trying to make sure that I wasn't making it, like, too spiky, but, like, making it similar to the reference. I really struggled a lot with Gray's hair. I spent a lot of time debating back and forth whether I was happy with it. This is why I'm here in this step, coloring it in already and, like, trying to touch up some things. I'm trying to decide if I'm happy with it, and I'm about ready to start over again because I was staring at the hair for so long that, yeah, I just saw every little flaw and every little thing that I wanted to tweak and do differently. And so pretty soon I had to just step away entirely from it, and that's why the lighting changed all of a sudden here, because I stepped away from this for several hours. This was another 3 hours of footage recorded, by the way, of me doing this redraw. And a good portion of that was just continuously tweaking the hair and obsessing over it and sitting there staring at it for a while. And also, as you'll see a little bit later on, trying to find the correct skin color for this pale little boy. I did overall have a much easier time of drawing Gray than I did Natsuki. I mean, hell, I didn't have to completely start over the drawing. It was just obsessing over the little things, especially because it was Fairy Tail. And I love it so much, and I really wanted this one to be good. So I just started picking out the colors for the sweater. I obsessed a lot over colors and just little details with the hair on this one, and that's what really ended up taking so long. I also did not mean for him to look so pissed off and grumpy. That was a mistake that my hand drifted just a little too far down when I was doing the line art over his mouth. It was supposed to be a neutral expression, like in the reference and like in the original drawing. But my hand slipped just a little too far down when I was doing the line art, and it really bothered me for a time, but then I was like, it's okay. So I began the adventure of trying to find the correct color for his skin. I got this giant box of art supplies from a friend quite a while ago, and I kept forgetting to go through it and actually see what was in there. I will never run out of pencils or pens ever again. There were also some really nice watercolors in there you can see at the bottom, and there were some really nice markers as well that I doodled with a couple days later. But unfortunately, there was still nothing in there for me to work with when it came to skin color. There were no neutral color items in there whatsoever. I, for some reason, can't find my other nicer markers, and I don't know why or what happened to them. So in between, I actually went out to Walmart on a whole excursion and bought an entire pack of just neutral colored markers, hoping that I would find something in there that was pale enough, not too yellow, not too pink. Spoiler alert, that didn't actually happen. Though at the very least, the trip to Walmart wasn't a total waste. I picked up a Jujutsu Kaisen shirt and the Book of Bill, so it was pretty worth it to me, you know? It's fine. I just would have been $18 richer if I had spent the time that I took walking to Walmart to actually go through and look for my other good markers, but, you know, hey, it's fine. After all of that, I ended up just finding and using a crayon to color in the face. And it was perfect, actually. It was the perfect color. It was just enough that I wasn't leaving his face completely white, but it also wasn't too tanned. Here is the before and after. Once again, I am really, really proud of the redraw. I think it looks amazing. I didn't have anything fairy tale, like any merch plush U2s, like I did for Natsuki, so I pulled out Wally, and I thought that he would appreciate my art, being an artist himself, and it, you know, it looks like he approves, so... I do really, really love how clean this looked in comparison to the old one. It really looks very nice, and I did end up liking the hair. I actually obsessed over it after I started liking it. It looked so soft and nice, and I just wanted to pat him on the head. I don't know what I'm doing here with my hand. Don't ask. I don't remember. Oh, I was trying to wave goodbye. That's what that was. Becky, please stop. Just be normal for 5 seconds. Just stop. It's okay. Nope, of course not. Now I'm trying to have Wally say goodbye. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, check out the other redraw videos that I did. I really enjoy doing these. They're a lot of fun, and I love seeing how much that I've improved. I want to know, what was your first anime, if you watch anime, or what was the first show or book or whatever it was, movie, that you got into that inspired you down some kind of creative path, or even if you never did anything with it, like draw or anything, just what, like, I don't know, what was like the first like kind of fandom that you got into that like really got you excited about whatever it was? I'm curious, I really want to know. I am considering making a Discord. I know that we don't really have like that much of a community yet, but I feel like it would just be nice to have, so that as this community hopefully builds, we have a place to go. So if you want to tell me about your art or the fandoms that you were in, or what got you into, you know, whatever you're into today, how they affected where you ended up creatively or otherwise, then I will put a link to the Discord in the description, and I hope to see you there. Again, thank you so much for being here and for supporting me. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Take care.
The army? Oh, crap, we gotta get out of here! Where the heck are you taking me? Just come on, you said that you wanted to join the Fairy Tale Guild, didn't you? So let's go!